Yeah, hey chat, just let me know when I'm back. I will be in a holding pattern until then. I think I've done all the self-promotion stuff, so that's good. My cheat sheet up. Yeah, cool. It looks like on my end things look like I should be streaming, so I'm gonna I guess I will assume that I am, and I'm getting confirmation from chat. So cool. Hey folks. Hi, I'm Joshua. Today is May 14th, 2017, and today, as always, I'm working on my video game Delver. You can see the website behind my head here. It's delvergame.com. For those of you who don't know, Delver is a procedural dungeon crawler with fantasy first-person, roguelike, and first-person shooter elements. Delver is a passion project. There are two of us working on it. We work on it in our free time. We've been working on it for I've been on the project 4 years, and Chad has been on it about 5, which is a long time. But working on stuff in your spare time is a slow way to develop things. But we are working hard to make the best game that we can with the resources that we do have. So if you want to support us, you can buy Delver. We're in early access on Steam right now. There's a link here on delvergame.com. You could also buy us through Humble if that's the way you prefer it. You also get a Steam key. The Humble build is a bit behind. It's probably quite a bit behind the Steam build at this point in time. If you want to wait for us to release a full 1.0 product, we are shooting for this year. I think we have a couple updates left before we get there. Yeah, let me kind of just move on to kind of covering what happened last week. Hey chat, hey everybody who's here. I appreciate that. Go make sure you can see my window here. Repositories, GitHub, Delver. Cool. I'm up to date on the latest. Let me just paste my git log command here. It's just to do a git log one line since last week. Pretty format, so you get some pretty coloring. And there we go. Actually, it's been a relatively decently busy week. So let's kind of cover some of the changes. And let's see, see what's going on. So, oh yeah, support for custom player torch. I did that. I think I did that last stream where if you wanted to change the torch, I think people wanted a way to turn it off. I think you can just set the range to 0 and the light to black. Yeah, so that was work was all about. So you can have a custom torch color if you want to do that for your mod. That's a thing. So Chad has been tweaking the asset picker in the editor, so it's a little bit easier to use. It's still a work in progress, but it's nice. It gives you rather than you typing in the path to your asset, you can now hit the button and it will actually bring up a picker, which allows you to pick your texture file or your model file or kind of whatever music. It hopefully makes things a little bit easier. We're also trying to be smart about like the relative path and where it potentially could live. Yep, more asset picker stuff here. Yep, knows about mods. That's good. So it pulls in data from mods. More asset picker work. So Chad reduced the chance of unique items spawning. That's pretty good. It seems like uniques were dropping at a pretty high rate, so it looks. So I'm all in favor of reducing that a bit. Cool. So Chad is also working on non-hostile enemies. So basically, it's an NPC that just runs around the map, and they have a use trigger, and they can do stuff when they're not hostile. If you do make them hostile, they will attack you. Light animations match dynamic light animations. That's cool. Oh, the halos for the lights have been synced up. Wiring up monster use triggers. Added a friendly monster in the debug category. Yeah, I can show you the friendly monster here in just a bit. Monsters can only walk on the ground or something else. Clamped monster flight speed. So that's if you noticed in the outside area, the monster flight speed was clamped in the X and Y plane, but on the Z plane sometimes they'd shoot up really fast. And I think this is cleaning that up. Yep. So I also have been working on so for basically since the very beginning, Delver has had a system called the Gen Info system, which allows us to place entities of any type on certain ceiling and floor textures. We also have had the ability to place entities as well based on wall texture, but there were a few things that were a little wonky about that. We didn't actually consider the tile the wall belonged to, but we were considering the tile that the wall faced, which kind of had, which basically resulted in bizarre behavior. Like if I wanted to spawn rock rubble whenever there was a broken wall texture, it wouldn't spawn there because it depended on the texture that was facing the wall, not where the texture of the wall or the wall the texture was on. So that has been changed. This is just me kind of cleaning all this up. Chad is also the monsters now walk slower when they haven't seen the player, so that's a nice little change. Yeah, there was a weird arch in the camp. I fixed that in one of my branches. I think Chad's also fixed it too, so it should be fine. Yeah, he also enhanced Delve Edit. So when you're using the editor, it used to the cursor in the editor was based on the intersection with the mouse and the origin plane. So if you had part of the room went really high up or down below the origin plane, it became really tricky to select stuff. So that has been changed, and it actually works quite well. I really prefer it to the old way. Yep. So this is Chad merging in my GenInfo stuff. So we've already covered that. Asset Picker lets you pick multiple entities. So, for example, on a model, you can have multiple. You can point the model to multiple meshes, and when the game loads, it will pick one from that list. So now in the Asset Picker, if you hold down Shift, you can click and select a bunch of meshes, which is cool. Or textures, and I believe we do the same treatment for textures, which is nice. And then I improved the wall GenInfo placement a little bit. This was from I did a bonus stream this past Friday, just a few days ago, and here I am making sure that when the wall GenInfos get placed, they don't intersect other geometry. And I was just committing my changes on that. Cool. So let's get to work, I guess. Let me go ahead and fire up. Oh, I had to do a restart recently, which is why all my apps are closed. Okay. Yeah, so I'll just immediately start just jumping right back into the new dungeon theme stuff. I can talk about some of the changes that we've been working on this past week. Actually, I think I'm in the wrong branch. Let me quit real quick, and I think I need to. Yeah, let's switch to a new dungeon theme. I'm just gonna update from develop. There we go. We'll merge develop back in there. Cool. Hawaii Beach says, when do we get a beta? We usually update the beta branch about a week or two out before we plan on releasing the next update. We're shooting for sometime in June. It just depends on like how fast I can get through the stuff I intend to deliver for this update. So let's look at the new level. So this is me just trying to work through what the new dungeon areas might look like. And also it's I'm using the wall GenInfo placer, so these chairs get put on any wall that has a certain texture. At least they ought to be. Yeah. That might be misbehaving a little, but I think it's okay. Just do a rebuild just to make sure. No, I don't. I will not ship unstable stuff. Early access is this weird place where people have given me money for a product even though it is disclaimed as early access and things are in development and change, and they are. But I also want to make sure that I treat it still like a full product and want to release it in as good a state as I think we possibly can. So I want to release it with as few bugs as we can. And sometimes just throughout, this like week to week throughout development, sometimes things get broken. And again, because we develop in our spare time, the rate at which we develop is a bit slower than other, like full-time devs. So I just don't. I mean, I guess really there wouldn't be a lot of changes coming down the pipe, and it's just more build infrastructure stuff that we don't really want to deal with. Cool. Yeah. So I think I want to figure out more architecture elements to kind of have the this this wall info thing place. So maybe windows, like fake windows, could be cool. I also was working on a little alcove thing. I think I had that going. Let me take a peek. Yeah. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. How about tomorrow? Thanks, Windows. Yeah, decorative shields could simply be a decal. That would be something easy to do. I guess it depends on what kind of feel. I was kind of going for maybe more of a dungeony feel, so not as much maybe not as much ornamental stuff, but I don't know. I mean, I am comfortable experimenting. This I wasn't feeling super much, like I wasn't really into very much. What else? Like, let me just really quickly put together a window maybe. What was that? Oh, didn't mean to do that. Let me see. So this is 1 unit wide, which is too big for a window, but maybe slightly smaller. I'm trying to think. Like I have references of like what the block scale or the wall looks like, and I think I even have a layer. Get out of edit mode. I think I have a layer here with kind of a mock. I try to mock up what the tile sets are going to look like, so when I build props, hopefully they kind of make sense in relation to like scale and stuff. Let me just go ahead and let's move this one out to that first layer because I think it's working. Yeah. Something like that. Again, maybe I should incorporate more of the metal. I think it is a nice contrasting element. Also, pop up in Photoshop because I know I'll be needing it here in just a moment. Let me just duplicate this. Let me move it to, I think it was this layer I was working on maybe? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, here's my window. And just trying to figure out roughly where it should fall and then try to see what size it needs to be. This can be really rough right now, and I can figure out like better pixel values as I go, and maybe. Maybe if it's not perfectly square, that's okay. Do a quick inset. Let me go extrude out these faces. I think I want to do like some fake like I think I want to bring this face just a little forward so it doesn't clip there with the wall. I don't think I have enough detail here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's like my min value there for what I think is okay for detail. I might maybe make it 6 or 8. Let me just see if I can just nudge these into better. 1, 2, 3, 6 maybe. I have my Blender grid lined up with my pixel grid in Photoshop, so things should match up nicely. Let me just snap these to grid. Then I need to, because I snap at the grid, I need to grab this and move it off again. Let's say off the my increment to, or yeah, my snap to increment. Snap it forward 1. There we go, and I think that'll be all right. Is there something seems weird with the verts here? Let me just really quick snap them all to the grid to make sure that. There we go. Yeah, there was some weird shading errors I noticed, so maybe some of my verts weren't quite snapped to the grid, but things seem to be better now. Yeah, Tessa Coyle is commenting on how the word dungeon gas or dungeon has come to describe in games. Yeah, dungeon really means it's pretty. Yeah, it's a pretty flexible term. Because I guess I've technically not really been in a dungeon, but I've been in like a medieval jail, and it is not comfy, and it was actually kind of horrifying. It was built underneath this tower in Portugal, and this tower is on the coast, and this prison cell was only like 3/4 of a person tall, so you had to stoop to get into it. But also, it like partially fills during high tide, which is just frightening. Okay, again, let me just try to give this the same treatment. Let's do a quick and dirty unwrap. Again, I'm try to get the pixel ratio. Again, this is just a temp asset, so I'm just trying to get it close. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just gonna eyeball it. Yeah, that seems about right. There we go. And then I'm just gonna do that little trick here where I just to get contrast on these elements. I'm just gonna select the these faces here, and then just scale them down to 0. Then I'm gonna stick them on a dark spot just so I get a nice dark line there, and then the same thing for the outside. Again, scale them down to 0, and then I'm just gonna stick them on maybe one of these darker purple spots. Just because, I mean, it's not final, but at least that way I can see the shape of the thing. Okay, so when I export to Delver, you do need to make sure that the object is positioned at the the world 00 and not offset like this because the when you export to the wave obj file, it will maintain this offset, and Delver will still think the origin of the bounding box is there. So if that's what you want, great. But what I want to do is hit Alt G to clear out the translation transform, location transform, to get this back at the 000 spot. And I want to also scoot this back just a little bit so that the origin sits in the middle of my geometry. Let's just pop that back too. Then I can export this. So File, Export, Wavefront OBJ, and I want to make sure I select Selection Only. I want to, I don't need to write materials, but I do need to triangulate faces. If you don't triangulate faces, your mesh export will have holes in it, and that's why. So if you're seeing your Wavefront OBJ files coming into Delver with holes, you need to make sure that the mesh is triangulated when it's exported. So let's go dungeon, and this is this will be test window export. But now here, I should be able just to pull it in real quick and see what's going on, see how it's looking. So entity, misc mesh, say well, then I can hit the this mesh file picker, and it should give me a nice list of meshes. What I want is dungeon, and then I want test window. Okay, and then for meshes, yeah, for some odd reason, I don't think, yeah, for some odd reason it's not. Let me see. It's not finding the subdirectories correctly on the meshes quite yet. Like the meshes works fine, but the textures don't. So you'd still type it in manually down here. So I need textures / dungeon / meshes.ping. Cool. And let me turn that. And just quickly, was it 0.5? No, this should be 125. Less than that. 0.625. Nope. 0.25. I should know this. Half of a 3/4 is 375. There we go. And then there should just be one. I think I made it 1 unit tall still. There we go. There we go. So our collision is correct. So I should be able to walk up to it and it will behave like I want. Notice there's no back face on this. So you know, be careful. Again, that's another troubleshooting thing too. If your mesh faces are flipped, you need to straighten that out in your editor, because we only draw front facing triangles. And then the placer will actually, so I can't actually snap it myself because I think it's 1 unit too small. I can manually place it there. And also maybe if I move it up, something like that might be more realistic. Yeah, and it's hard to tell. Tesla Coil says, I had an idea for the alcoves, which was to make them not take up the full width of the grid so they spawn and there's some space between them. Yeah, there's a number of ways of doing that, but so I'm thinking of also I could just use these as alcoves as well, these door frames, because I want to make sure there's enough room inside here to actually do something with this space, if that makes sense. This may work okay. Let me try updating here. Let's just do some quick and dirty prototyping. So make this black, and the side here, Scale this. 2 is pretty small. Let's see. I'm just going to try to put some fake bars in here real quick and see what that looks like. Also make sure I got the spacing on that okay. It might not be. Okay, let's just re-export it and then we can hot load it in the editor. So export obj, test window, export. It saves all our settings from the previous export, so that's nice. Play, and then you could hit K and refer. Nope, not toggle no clip K. Refresh. That should pull in the new mesh. It used to. Yeah, there we go. It looks like we got that there now. And it's maybe. Kibborg says, "Is B DLC for Delver?" No, I don't think we're planning any DLC. To be honest with you, we're still trying to finish the full game. We do have mod support, so people can mod in stuff that they like. I mean, like DLC is also, you know, like that would be like, I guess that kind of depends on like if we actually make money off the thing or not, right? But unfortunately, there are financial realities to making this thing. Because right now, I am, I guess, independent or freelance or however you want to term it. So I'm in between contract work, so I'm spending more time working on Delver. But I really do need to find, you know, like more financially stable options. No, I need to find a way to eat. Is my ultimate, like my bottom line there. I'm wondering if it should be bigger. Hard to say, because right now the bars are only 2 wide, and that's pretty narrow. Did I make them bigger, taller? Don't know. What would it look like if I made them twice as? I don't know. I'll play around. Let's just play around and find if we find proportions that we like. Let me see. Just isolate that. We scale it up by more than that. 1 1/3. There we go. Mix it a little bit bigger. Let me just select everything and snap to grid. Yuck. Let me fix the bars then. Probably. Just again, just snapping stuff, making sure. I didn't want to scale it on the y-axis, just on the x and the z. Maybe pulling these bars forward will help give a little bit better sense of depth, because right now they seem pretty flat because they're just right off the back. But also the back is just flat black, so not a lot of contrast to work with either. Let's just re-export this real quick. Alt G to put it back in the center of the world space. File export. Wavefront OBJ. Test window export. And play. Okay. Refresh. There we go. Yeah, maybe a little bit bigger is better. I think I'm liking that okay. Let me try polishing that up just a little. Let me do some texturing on this and see if I can get it to a place where I like it, at least a little bit better. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, nice. Okay, so let me just real quick. This is already on top of this. So let me just fix these UVs. I think the pixel scale is off also because I scaled it. Okay, let's just real quick. Let's just make sure. Nope. Snap selected the pixels. There we go. Let's snap our cursor here. There we go. Up. Nope. Cursor to selected is what I want. There we go. And you have a scale about this, and I'm just going to try to just eyeball it until I get to where it looks like the pixels should line up with the grid. And just do a snap, selected pixels. Make sure that that's still right. Just kind of do a quick visual inspection. It looks like things are correct. I didn't mess up anything too heinously. Let me see. Let's go ahead and what I can do is just select these faces, and I think these are 4. So let's move this X 4. So that's okay. So I think it's fine where it is. Let's go Y minus 32, minus 16. Okay. Then I want to go down 4, so get Y minus 4. And then what I'm going to do real quick is just I can select this one, and hit U, follow active quad. Okay, and that should. I didn't quite do what I wanted it to do. Not quite. Yeah, I'm changing my scale just in between the bounding box of these two. Quickly snap them to pixels, and that should straighten things out. Okay. I'm just going to quickly do that for all of these, and then I can go back in later and fix up the Okay. Let me turn on my snap to over here. I can change my snap to be vertex, and I can just quickly snap these in place. Okay. Now the interior unwrap, and actually, it might be okay. I don't know if I really need as much uniqueness on these UVs. Probably okay though. Do I have this? This face should be. Oh, it isn't. Okay. We just project from view on this one. select these all, and then just grab this one and just tuck it right in the center here, because this should fall neatly in here. I can just use this as a guide. There we go, and just snap those in place. And then I need to worry about these interior parts here. Let me try something. Let me grab this one and that one, and then do a follow active quads. Then fix the unwrap there so it's nice and square. And then I think I can just do all these at one go. So let me grab this one, this one, this one, and this one, and then you follow active quads. There we go. Now we get a nice unwrap of all of those. So then I just need to figure out where these need to live. Of course, yeah. I'm just doing it. See, I did that because now they're all square and they don't have that weird angle for me to fix. So I can just quickly grab these and just start repositioning the UVs. There we go. Maybe like that. Trying to figure out. So here. I'm just manually typing in transforms here to get everything to line up nicely. Trying to tuck it in nice and tight. And let me just quickly paint a texture on this. Oh, I don't have the bars yet either. Let me just go ahead and get rid of the bars. Not so worried about them now. And I eventually, I may want to have another prefab that sits inside this window. That could be bars, or it could be boards, or it could be a number of things that just kind of gets randomly picked. So it'd be like a prefab within a prefab, which might be a nice way to get quick variety. Yeah. So I think this is good. Let me go here. Let's go to, I have texture painting already up. Let's go to texture paint. Yeah, I need to add a new material, existing material. I have already set up a mesh material, and it should already have all the correct UVs, which is nice, or at least, yeah. So we unwrapped it. Blender has this weird concept of, like, it will show you in the viewport, especially using multi-texture. If you flip over to GLSL, it'll give you a better representation of what you're actually going to get. But in multi-texture mode, it will show you whatever image you've applied to the unwrap, which may or may not be what's actually associated with the material. I have a fill brush, and I'm just going to go over here, maybe in the paint mode, and then just select this color. Over here, should be able to fill it. There we go. And that should do it nicely. It looks like my UVs aren't quite 100%. Go back here to view, and Shift S, select the pixels, snap that into place because it looks like these are off. I think I just eyeballed it and didn't get them correct. There we go. Also, when you're doing texture painting, it's very important on this over here in these options to turn your bleed down to 0 pixels. Otherwise, when you do painting, they will spill over outside of the unwrap area. But if you have, sometimes when you have angles, you may have to turn the bleed up or go over here and toggle this view to paint, and then paint in the parts that you want, where you actually do want pixel bleed. Okay, so this is all, it's all gray, and it's going to be kind of hard for me to work with. So over here on my meshes, I can turn on wire. That will at least give me an idea of where the edges are. And let me get out of the isolation mode. Let me go back to object mode. Let me just scoot it over, get X. And I can just kind of use this as a reference and color pick from. And then go back into texture paint mode. We can paint some textures. So make it. Excuse me. There we go. I'm just going to start putting down some of these dark outlines. Actually, I have a line tool I made, which is basically just a brush tool, but down here on stroke, you can change the stroke method to line. It makes it easy to do these lines real quick like this. I wanted that and not the purple. I think my brush might be a little on the small side. Let me scale it up a little bit. There we go. Good. Just trying to figure out where the bricks are going to lie. There we go. Of course, these bricks should continue on around. At least makes a little sense. Whew, something's upsetting my nose. I apologize. Yeah, it would be a nice little. I mean, I guess so. Tesla Coil is suggesting it would be nice if Blender showed a pixel grid when you're painting, which would be cool. It would be really only useful for pixel art stuff, but yeah, it would be cool. For example, the Quake editor Trench Broom does that, and it shows you the grid size on the geometry, which is kind of a cool way to visualize it. So let's go ahead and just add maybe 3 bricks here. Because we have the unique texture space, I might as well make use of it. Come on, brush. Go, and then make these bricks wrap around. Cool. And I'm thinking, and I could do 2, I don't know, or 3. Try to figure out, like, just seems to be already lots of 3s, but yeah, something like that's fine. Don't forget to continue these on around. And it helps if my brush isn't way smaller than the actual pixels. Also, yeah, I should continue on the inside here. I think I only have 2 pixels worth of detail here. It looks like my unwrap here is not correct. So I need to fix the that. Okay, let me go back to draw, and I need to troubleshoot what's going on with my stuff here. Or is it working out okay? No, there's something messed up here. Yeah. Do a quick little checker pattern just to see what's going on. Yeah. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. 1, 2, 3, 5. Yeah, it's too small by 1. Let me grab these. And right. Here, let me snap the cursor here. Cursor 2 selected. And we just scale these on the Y about the cursor. until I can get these two grids to line up. Get that close and then snap them, select the pixels. Should be closer, but now it looks like they're too narrow. Go to ortho view on the side. Yeah, these should be three deep, and then probably just two. Yeah, this might have been a result of me kind of just eyeballing the unwrap here. Select everything and just manually fix these. Okay. Then up here, let me check as well and see how the pixels are lining up. Again, I have a feeling that they're going to be off. I could have got lucky. Who knows? And up here, let's do this. Actually, that looks okay. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. All right, let's just clean all this junk up. Actually, I think what I can do is you can go to edit mode and you can just select these faces here. Go back into texture paint mode and turn on masking. Then go to our fill tool, and then we can just fill just our selected faces in, which is what we want. And go back to our line tool, and then turn off masking. There we go. And back into texture paint, and we're good. There we go. Now the pixels feel better. And playing with brush size can help some of these issues with it not responding to your strokes. Okay. Let's pop back out of isolation mode, and then again maybe select that M for mask. Let's pick this dark color here and just fill it. There we go. M to turn off mask. Back to draw. And actually goes back to line tool and we'll start picking out our highlights. This is kind of my process for this. Maybe this here. We fix this stuff. We don't need those checks anymore. Nice. Also, too, let me move in that door arch that or just here. It could also be useful. Move to the layer we're working on, so I have another reference on how I did the stones. Just make this bigger. Okay, now back to texture mode. Just gonna pop this kind of highlight around the edges. Not worrying about perfection. I can clean that stuff up here in a second. Ugh. I'm really sloppy now. Maybe make my brush size just a touch smaller. Get less overlap. Maybe back to draw. Clean some of this up real quick. Okay. Start picking out kind of these highlighted areas. I think I kind of generally assume that the light is in the upper left on things that are like vertical-ish, and then I do omni on the ceiling and on the floor. That makes sense. sometimes, yeah. Real quick, let's just start going crazy with dither. Why not? The style I've been using for the dungeon area refresh. If it's too heavy in areas, I can back it off. I'm just using a really basic 50% dither, nothing fancy. Yeah, and so these small areas I may have to be a little bit more choosy how thick the dither is. Right now, having a dither width of 2 basically covers up the entire brick, which might be okay. Again, I will pause here in a second and take a look at the overall piece and see what it looks like. So those of you who see me work before, I also in Photoshop have a 50% dither brush that does this for me automatically, which is a nice time saver. But unfortunately, I don't believe in Blender you can have textured brushes in the same kind of way. If you can, please let me know, because that would be a time saver. There we go. That's looking close-ish. Yeah, let me maybe up here for these kind of reduce this bottom row. Maybe keep the 2 on the sides. That's fine. Give it a little bit of room to breathe here. The same thing down here. Yeah. Cool. Testicle says, "What if the window was a light source?" Maybe. It just depends. Like, I have to assume that they go to. I'm kind of assuming they don't go to anything. But maybe that might not be a bad idea. Yeah, that's a possibility. If the prefab in here could be anything, it might be a light source. Really quickly, just adding little bits of highlight here and there. Try not to be too particular about it. Just kind of let my hand kind of make the decisions. Okay. Let me just really quickly check to see what this looks like in game. So let me just in Blender, you have to, if this is an external image, you have to, like all images in Blender, you have to save separate from the actual main file. So you go image save, or Alt S will also save it when your cursor is hovering over the image. So now also I think I made changes to the mesh. So let me re-export this as well. So file, export OBJ format, and this is test window, export. And then let's pop into the editor and play. And then we should be able to hit K, refresh. Maybe. There we go. Oh, looks like I forgot to put it back in the center. So that's why it was off. So re-export it. Export, and then undo to push it back over to the side. Then let me refresh my data here. There we go. I think also if I delete this then undo it, it should come. Yeah, it comes back in with the new texture, which I think is looking all right. I could. Ooh, I was thinking about doing maybe an alt texture for the meshes as well, and I could do an alt that is metal. Maybe I yeah, that would be nice. That would be cool. I guess I'm feeling this. Let me. I'm thinking maybe I should. I want to do the nesting prefabs thing because I think that can be cool. I think I'm. Yeah, because right now, like when you get far away, it's not a lot of. Kind of, I mean, it blends in quite a bit, which I guess is kind of okay because it's all made out of the same material. Yeah, I was thinking about the top of the window being an arch or not. I think square is okay. I think both have their place. If you look at like medieval architecture, you find instances of both in a similar building. And because again, like here, if you look, we have to do axis aligned bounding boxes. So let me pop in a door arch, dungeon sets door arch. Then if I ungroup this and I turn on bounding boxes, you can see that the bounding boxes for the door are a pretty rough estimate. So I'm going to try to avoid like arched stuff as much as I can. So I think the square works out okay. Because the initial run of the dungeon area had a lot of curves in it, and it's just I think now, much later, I'm more comfortable just embracing the blocky nature of Delver. Let me think. I think that's okay. I think I can live with that. Yeah, I probably can. Just throw a few of these around just to get a feel for what it's going to look like. I'm going to try to see if I can get the wall gen info system to place these on the wall dynamically, and they shouldn't overlap with props. I'm just worried about them putting them at the correct height, but I think this can be okay. Yeah, I'm going to try to keep it, maybe, I think if it was square, it'd be easier to fit stuff inside there. But yeah, those are good suggestions, Tesla. Oh, that's on the z-axis. Doofed. Yeah, I had to design this one so I can't manually snap it into place, but the gen info system will snap it into place. That should be fine. Yeah, that's looking okay. I think I can live with that probably, maybe. We'll see. And these will be either barred, or they'll have boards in them, or something, or maybe look bricked up just to have a couple of different options. And then also maybe provide an alt texture as well, so they have it potentially could be metal. That would also be nice. Cool. Yeah, these are all at different heights, which is bugging me now. Pull them all the same distance away from the wall. Yeah. Cool. Thanks, Maker Images. Yeah. Again, I'm trying to make Delver as beautiful as I can, so that's what I'm working on. It would be interesting. I don't know if maybe if Chad ever watches this, it would be interesting to be able to do like a skybox texture somehow, and not that it would have sky, but maybe a skybox texture of like a just of like kind of a generic dungeon skybox, so it looked like you're seeing more of the dungeon. I don't know. Nope. You cannot walk through windows. Windows are just purely decorative. Again, I'm just trying to figure out ways for our generator to make the rooms feel more alive with not a lot of effort from us. Because ideally, like like right now, the generator system is placing these chairs. So I'm going to try to see if I can make it also place these windows, which would be nice. Nope, no, you can't John McClane stuff, sorry. That would be weird to have a procedural John McClane simulator, right? Where you're crawling through vents, taking out terrorists. Let me save this because I think the progress is cool. Let me finish up this window texture real quick. I'm thinking... right now I'm debating whether or not I should keep this part here or always force I can delete this black face, this dark face back here, and then I could always have a prefab spawn in here that would have something. I think that's probably the route I'm going to go. Let me isolate orthographic side. Let me move it back one on the Y, and then I need to adjust all my actually delete faces. Then let me adjust all this stuff here. Actually, I might have more. I might have texture space now to stuff all this inside the window, maybe. But they also need to go over one. You kind of, I don't know, like you kind of can do that. It would be weird because they don't line up with the grid per se. Like, the min, like if I wanted to try to do a fake window, so let's say I have some space back here, and also let me just hit G to texture pick that, create a space back here, and pull this up. Just gonna try to get approximate. That should be enough. Then here I can add. Oh, there's already space there, so I just need to grab this and then just pull this up. So from this, oh, why is it not? Did I pull the floor up, not the ceiling? There we go. Let's get this fixed. Floor up to here. And the ceiling up to there. It kind of works, but there's like, again, here, let me. So let's re-export our mesh without that. Alt-G to position it at the 0, 0 coordinate. File, export, file, export OBJ. This window is fine. Okay, and if I hit play, okay, refresh. There we go. Now you can see through it. It kind of works, but it's kind of too small. Maybe I can align this perfectly with that. Then pull the ceiling down to match the top of the window here. Go one too far. close enough. You can see through, but you can also see that there's, I mean, I guess that's not the worst. And then you have to go through and you have to like block out that entire area, right? You have to go, I guess it could just be short. Like I can probably get away with just something like this maybe. You have to be considerate, like, because people use teleport scrolls, they can end up back here, so they have to be able to get back out. Or you can put or you need to put spawn blockers back there. Yeah, I think that's cool. You could even do something like, let's make these the same height, and then you can angle them, right? So you can grab this and pull this up, and then grab this and pull that up, which could be cool. Let me make the floor dungeon and just give it a texture like that. Actually, let me turn off paint adjacent so I'm not doing anything too weird. Turn off paint adjacent and then go. What'd I do? There we go. Vortex, maybe. No, I guess you could spawn stuff that kind of shoots out of there. I guess you can't really see the angle, so maybe if I angled it the other way, it'd make more sense. You know, but here you could spawn something to fall out, which could be cool. I think if I angled these down, then you'd be able to see the ceiling. Kinda. Yeah, that's interesting. It may work. Yep. Again, I'm just trying to imply more space than there actually is. But I think that could be cool. I still want to put that prefab in the middle sometimes. Yeah, I think that's a really good suggestion, Maker Images. Yeah, I like it. But for the dynamic stuff, it doesn't make sense because this I mean for the hand built stuff, this is totally doable. I don't know, like I think it'll look fine lit, but I'm just worried that if you light something, players expect something to be there because it draws their eye naturally. And so my first time I designed some rooms in the dungeon, I thought it would be cool to include areas that you couldn't get to but were lit and had like enemies and stuff up there. And people got very frustrated by that because they expected because it was lit they could get back there. Yeah, I like it better dark. And again, it makes you think you can get back there. Now, if you could, I would be fine with that. Like maybe you're saying like there's a like what you could do, which would be kind of cool, I suppose, is let me select this. You could create like a second whole room back here. Let me pull this up. And if all these cut through. And you could tease like, and that really just destroyed the textures of me. G. And clean that up. You know, and then you could tease something being back there because there is something back there now. The floor is messed up. No, I pulled all these down. That's what I did. I mean, so that could be a use for it, you know, and you could do like just a simple stair over here. Floor. Fix this. Just chop it right into the room. And This is going to be a landing. Let's lower this landing down somewhere in between the two. And then maybe this is flush with the floor. Here. Might not be enough room, so let's pull this down here. Make a ramp. And a ramp. Then hit, I think, Shift F? No, F to flatten these out to make a stair. Select these and pull them up a little. There we go. And you have this area back here. I don't know, like you'd have to also remove, either add 4 collision entities on this or remove the collision entirely for it to be able to walk through. But it looks kind of cool. I don't know. Like also, I mean, if you removed them, it'd probably look not too dissimilar. I mean, it's not as fancy, but you can get a similar feel. Yeah, some things, yeah, Testicle, some things should be two-sided to make them more useful. Or for example, like this door, you can just snap 2 copies together. Like for the window, you can also snap 2 copies together if you wanted to. Because one of our we do plan on updating our Android build and iOS builds eventually. I don't want to make this too poly intensive, so like making assets that are reusable like that is great, but I just don't want to like push our poly budgets like too far. So I think where it makes sense, I will definitely use that. I will definitely do that. So here you could also do something like, you could probably achieve a similar effect with one of these. So these are actually sized correctly to make this kind of work. They are exactly 1 unit wide, so they kind of just naturally line up with hallways. Kind of budget a little, but that'd be fine. You know, something like that. Then maybe I should also make a generic kind of pillar thing for these. I don't know. We got options. Let me open up. I'll open. Let me reopen this up. There we go. Cool. All right, let's get back to those windows, shall we? Also, I think I can now stuff these. Nope, they're too. That one's too. No. I can stuff these inside the inside this window space here since it's hollow now. Also, let me turn the snaps to increment to be able to get it close. Okay, then this one. And this one. Maybe I can turn my snaps back to vertex and quickly it's into place. Selected the pixels just to be sure, but it looks like it's going to work out okay. Cool. goodness. Okay, so there we go for that. And let me, oh sorry, select these. Interior. All those. And go back to texture paint mode. Grab my fill brush and just drop in color again. Fill. Mask. Fill. Line. And turn off masking. Yep, so Tesla says if you add the bars to the windows, the current room makes more sense. Yeah, but still, like, you have to make it like you can make it so you can see through it, but like you can, I don't know, it's not a perfect solution. Like I could redesign the asset, or I could make a different asset to make it work better. Maybe something more like the door would make more sense, where it fits better with the level geo. This really isn't meant to work well with the level geo. Like you're not supposed to be able to walk through it, so that's why it's meant to fit within a 1 unit. It is exactly 1 unit wide, so it's meant to fit that way, but not the other way. Okay. Let's get out of isolation mode. Let's just nudge this over just a bit. Cool. I'll probably add, a little broken detail since I do have. It's not mirrored. I can add those little bits if I want, which is cool. Go back to my line tool and just start drawing lines, I guess. Texture paint, line. There we go. I think it makes sense to have the. Ooh, I'm getting some weird artifacts there. Should wrap that. I know it's not super realistic, but I do tend to have some sellout on the selective outlining on the edges and stuff in Delver on these meshes. Are they 3 again? Somehow did I goof up the pixels on this? That should be 4 on the outside. Let's take a look. That one looks like it is 3 pixels. One also looks like 3 pixels. This one, yeah, they're all one too small. That is strange. Also, oh, that's gonna be a pain. Here, let me real quick. Let's Alt S. Let's save it. Let's go into Photoshop. Let's open it. File open. Meshes. Sorry, my mind breaks when I hop in back and forth between apps sometimes. So between Photoshop and Blender. My hands are still doing shortcut keys for shortcuts that just don't exist. Okay. Also, let me select this chunk. And I think I don't need. I just need this. Everything should be fit nicely inside here now. And duplicate that, put it to the top, and turn it off. And then I can I can hide all this stuff real quick. I don't know why I'm so picky about cleaning this up. I guess I'm retentive. Oh. There we go. Let's pop this back on top, and then I need to move it down, up, nope, wrong one. I need to move this down one and then to the left. One. I believe I also need to just go ahead and extend out this. That. I guess I just make a marquee selection here real quick. And B, and just position that here. And put one here. And I goofed something, but whatever. And there. Save. Okay, in Photoshop, I guess forgetting that it's as a ping. So let me save it as a ping, meshes.ping. Yep. No compression. Close that. Don't save it. File open. Meshes.ping. There we go. Hey, Artica says, I'm new. What am I doing? I am working on my video game Delver. I guess I've been going an hour and 20 minutes now or thereabouts. So let me just go ahead and play a little bit of Delver for folks who've never seen it before. Let me stop that, and I need to just quickly remove this so it doesn't put chairs everywhere. And let's play some Delver. Yeah, so Delver is a procedural dungeon crawler. It has fantasy, roguelike, and first-person shooter elements. Hi, I'm Joshua. I'm the art guy. I do all the 2D, 3D art for this. I do some programming. We're a two-person team working on this in our free time, so we wear lots of hats and we play lots of roles, as needed. This is your campfire. You can buy stuff. You can get lore. This guy plays you music. The music should be coming through. Hopefully you can hear it. I try to keep at an appropriate level. Again, if my volume levels are off, let me know. But I've tried to straighten that out. Yeah, so this is the dungeon is procedural, so every time you enter the dungeon, it is different, which is kind of like how Spelunky does it, or if you're familiar with the roguelike genre. And there's Test the Coil Shovel. Maker Images says no audio. So here, let me try. If I bump it up a little bit more. No desktop audio still. Let me. I mean, my levels in OBS look like it's catching something. Yep, secret door. The Tesla Coil says there's audio for them. Interesting. Yeah, so there's this dungeon you explore, and you fight bad guys, and you get, loot, and you level up, just like I did there. Let's do agility. What the heck? There are potions, and it's just, it's pretty tropey as far as like RPGs go. Like there's just kind of a light version of a lot of things you'd expect. But we try to have, like I'm working on redoing the dungeon area to be more interesting and more beautiful. Is kind of my goal for this upcoming update. This will be update number 15. We're trying to have it land sometime in June. Hopefully I can do that. I stream every Sunday, just kind of do like a weekend development update for folks, so you can see where we're at, what we're working on, what we're thinking about. And I use it as a way to communicate to the players on a regular basis, which is cool, which is nice. Well, you know, actually, Maker Images, I just bumped up the audio just a little bit. So if you're hearing it now, that's because I turned it up just a touch. Speed, go fast. And there are, you know, there are 2 levels of the dungeon, and then you go down below that, and then you have a shopkeeper where you can spend the gold you found. And then beyond that, you get into the caves, which have a very different look and feel compared to the dungeon. And they have different, you know, different enemies that have different, you know, like look and feel. Kind of, they behave it slightly different. I mean, our enemies aren't super. The AI isn't super. Whoa, he set the bat on fire. I'm out of shots. Let's flee. 7 to 9. Yeah, that's the way to do it. I mean, okay. Okay. Let's drink some ale. There we go. Let's just leave those guys back there. So for the procedural generation, some of the rooms are hand-built by us, and some of the rooms are built by the computer. And generally the process is, I make some, right now I'm going to try to make the textures and the props for building the new dungeon area rooms. And I will build a few rooms, and then Chad will look at those, and he will tweak the room builder to try to make them emulate me. And then I will turn around and adjust my rooms to emulate the room builder, so it feels like a more consistent experience. That's the process we used for making the ruins area, and I think it worked out very, very well. And again, I worry that there's not enough enemies in the cave areas. It seems kind of spare. I may just play around with actually having, because right now our traditional way of spawning enemies is in the rooms by adding enemy markers. But I potentially could just add an enemy marker through the gen infos on the floor, which I think would be a fine way to do it. Attack. Ooh, and arrows. There we go. I guess I'll keep playing until I die. Maybe that's fair. It probably won't be very long. Delver is a hard game. Let's lower this. Though it is beatable. And this was me trying to be clever with the use of levers in this little lift here, because you have to lower it to get across there, and then you have to raise it to get across here. There we go. Nice. Also in the caves, I also try to have it so you can see from one torch to the other to give you an idea of where to go next, so you're not totally lost. But unfortunately, the room builder doesn't follow that rule, so it works reasonably well. Ooh, another wand. Ah, another spider. I'm using the wrong weapon. I should have put the yeah. Let's go ahead and put this sword in my belt so I can get back to it quickly. Oh, another spider. Oh geez, now I feel like I was complaining about not enough enemy drops, and now I have like a lot of enemy drops. Okay, so this is a greater fire wand, which means I'm probably going to blow myself up with it, but I got to be careful. I probably need to tone the ooh, and this I have somebody made a Dark Souls ring mod, so I'm playing with that, and a few other mods turned on. That was the last update we did, was update number 14, where we added Steam Workshop support. Delver has always had mod support, but it's been pretty manual, where you have to extract zip files, and there's no real good central repository for them. Yeah, that definitely needs to be nerfed. Or not. I mean, it is the most destructive wand in the game, and if you use it right, you can kill big groups of enemies. I've been on the project 4 years now. The main developer, Chad, has been on it 5. We work on this in our free time. It is not our full-time job. So I guess when normal people are out having fun or playing video games, we are making Delver instead. Cool. Let's get back to work. Okay, so work on this window. So I think I saved this texture, so let's go back into Blender. Hover over the window and hit Alt-R, and that will reload it. And then I can now get X minus 1, get Y minus 1, and then I can adjust all of these to be correct now. On this outside area, I was off by 1 pixel, so I can just quickly adjust that. So technically, making the wand kill yourself less would be buffed. You could, I think you can use a magic resistance scroll to prevent that. Cool. Yeah. Go back into texture paint mode and finish this stuff up. Hey, Michael. How are you? Hey, Mark Solly. Good to see you two join me. I'm just painting a window. It is nice to be able to paint pixel perfect textures in Blender once you get things set up correctly. It is a nice way to work. I'm trying to think. Let's get out of isolation mode and then look at so the door, I don't have anything on the bottom. But I do have, okay, so I have outlines but no highlights. So Michael, so the Luftenstein minigame in Strafe, I did the title screen for that, and I did some very small art touch-ups. So for folks who may not know, on May 9th, a video game called Strafe was released, and I did a little bit of contract work here and there on it. So for that, I did just the title screen. There's also I have a full-on like secret minigame that I made all the content for that nobody has found yet, which is pretty exciting. I'm kind of like I keep doing like searches to see if people have found it yet, and so far they have not. And I haven't even found it yet. I know the thing is I know how to do it. I think I keep messing up the sequence, so I haven't even found my own secret yet, which is a shame. And also I'm building a new PC. Because my laptop here that I use it's starting to get older, and I'm just not able to play newer games. And it would be nice just to have a PC so I can actually play like modern games and stream. So I've been thinking about maybe doing some non-Delver streams in the future, just like maybe playing games and looking at the art, and then maybe trying to like maybe learn something or recreate something from a game if that interests folks. Because I guess my interests lie in like the intersection of art and technology. So I'm trying to figure out stuff I can do that would be interesting in that space. Yeah, I just did a little bit of contract work on Strafe. So once my secret has been found, I'll ask Pixel Titans if it's okay if maybe I do a little stream where I share the art assets I made, because I'm pretty proud of them. Like it was under like I got pulled in towards the end, so it's a bit of a time crunch, but I'm happy with the work I made. Take care, Tesla. Thanks for stopping by. So for here, I'm going to try to make this a little bit more, since it's at the top, maybe make it a little bit more omnidirectional as far as shading is concerned. Yeah, Strafe is also another procedural game, which I guess maybe some folks didn't know, and there was a little bit of I guess pushback on that. And maybe it's just how they sold their game. I'm not sure. I mean, I really enjoy it, but I can see if people were expecting one thing and got another, they might be a little upset. So Michael, any hints? So it deals, I think it's accessible from the start area, I believe. At least, you know, the last update I was given, I was told it was. There was a sequence of things you have to do though, and that sequence I can't keep straight in my mind. Like I keep forgetting the correct order in which to do them. And then after you do them, like what to do after that. So, I mean, I may talk to those folks and see, just for myself to see what it looks like in game. Because actually, I haven't even played the mini game that I helped create yet, which is kind of a bummer. But I'm waiting for all my PC parts to get delivered so I can assemble that and actually play it at an enjoyable frame rate. And I think, Michael, they actually fixed that train bug that you reported. I saw their patch notes, and it looks like they are. I know they're hard at work trying to get things straightened out for folks. Hey, aka Trickster. Thanks for stopping by chat. How are you? Do you think I should do artwork or gameplay mechanics first on a development perspective? Probably mechanics, to be honest with you. Unless your game is purely an art game, but it's like you could spend a lot of time on art. So it's better maybe to see if the idea of the game is even valid before you sink a lot of resources into it. Unless it's a hobby project. And if it's just a hobby project, then just do whatever interests you, because you have that freedom. Dither. See, actually, I am a hardcore shotgun player myself. I don't know if that's common or not, but yeah, I think different people do use different weapons. It's always interesting when people are really like feel strongly one way or another, which I think is probably a good idea, or at least maybe it's a good indicator that something's right with the design. Because when I see people talk about Delver and they say, well, clearly the best way to go is to always use, for example, some people only use two-handed stuff, or some people only use daggers. And because they're different answers, that makes me a little bit more confident that the design is okay. And why, Blender, are you not laying down those dark pixels? Let me flip over here and just forget about that for a second. Delver is pacifist route. People have tried to do pacifist runs in Delver. It might be possible. Or people have also talked about doing a prop only run. Like you can throw props in Delver and they do damage. It's just a minimal amount of damage, but they don't ever break. Whatever that's worth. Something, I suppose. Go. I try to keep Delver pretty lighthearted. Mostly because I spend a lot of time working on the art, and it's just easier for me if it's not so super serious, and that way I could not feel bad showing my family what I do. Getting some weird bleed there. Gotta be careful about that. Also, I guess I stopped doing the dither over here because it was misbehaving, and now it's just fine. So sometimes adjusting your view in Blender can help solve some of these weird issues where the brush just doesn't want to put down any pixels. Couldn't tell you why, but I can tell you like that's just how I fix it sometimes. The brutal Delver. People can do. I mean, we give pretty full control with the mod tool, so folks can make kind of whatever they want. Which I keep meaning to do the Mod Mondays on the Delver Facebook page, and I keep forgetting, and I feel really bad about it. I think maybe either tomorrow or later today, I just need to sit down and queue a bunch of those up because I'm really proud of the mods that folks do make. It's really cool stuff, and a lot of folks here in chat right now are actually Delver modders, which is really cool. They're really good about supporting me, which I appreciate. Okay, that's looking all right. Let's add some damage now since we have non-mirrored UVs. I think I generally do that just by dropping in a line. Here, boom, 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 boom. Make it all dark purple, and then here, and then maybe drop a highlight across here. There we go. Maybe get rid of some of the dither, maybe. Little, not too much. Hey, Michael, if you're listening, whatever happened with that Pexels game? I think they contacted you to do art for them. Did that ever work out? Again, just dropping little highlights here and there, just to kind of just, I guess, try to help like one part of it read like it's lifted up higher than the other. Okay. I can also. Gotcha. No, I could totally understand that. Just curious. Just add a little bit of thickness there. Just trying to add some variety, just so it's not so samey. Hey, Manus BG. Thanks for stopping by. I want to add a little bit more destruction, but I don't want to be over too crazy. Thank you kindly for the nice words. I try to make Delver as beautiful as I can. I really should do. I've been meaning to do just more personal pixel art, because right now all the art I do is for projects, which I mean is good because it helps feed me and my family, but it is nice to be able to do my own stuff too. So maybe I will do another Pixels Daily or something. Is that right? Yeah, that's okay, I guess. I appreciate the compliment. Kind of you. Well, I certainly enjoy it, doing art, especially that I'm making a little bit of money on it is really cool. I'm very fortunate to be able to do what I enjoy. Don't take me wrong. And I'm very lucky to work with like really talented and kind people as well. Maybe something up here-ish. Maybe. I don't know. Thank you. It's very kind of you to say, Mantis. Also, let me make the cracks up. Since I have all these UVs that are unique, I can actually just take advantage of the fact that this stuff is make the cracks wrap around and try to make them make sense. Because if they didn't wrap around, it would be weird, right? Like if it just stopped abruptly. I am self-taught as far as art is concerned. By trade, I am a software engineer. I enjoy doing both, so that's why on my streams I usually pop back and forth. Today's been a very art-heavy stream, mostly because that's kind of the task at hand. But yeah, I enjoy doing both. And basically, when I went off to university, I had the choice: do I keep doing art or do I do computer science? And I picked computer science because I guess I felt more certain that I'd be able to like pay the bills with computer science. Yeah, I'm just trying to like, I know like Delver isn't here. I can also turn off the wire. So like Delver isn't super realistic, but I try to make things make sense where I can. Not that not that I have to. It's just I guess it makes me happy. What other elements? Like I can't really do a recessed brick because these are like a frame for a window. Yeah, I think that's okay. I have some cracks here and there, but not. I don't want to have like tons of cracks because that just seems odd. You don't want it to be overly unique because then you could tell like you can kind of see what's going on. So let me save my texture out here. Let me pop back into the editor and see how that looks. Oh, wrong thing. That's the desktop launchers. Geez. Not paying attention. So Mark Salia said, I studied arts and finished graphic design and visual stuff, but I went the other way. Yeah, no, I've been doing pixel art for a very long time. I guess I started doing pixel art because I'm old, and that's just how you made art for games. Um, but I like the style, you know, and I've learned that. Did I not? Did I save that out? Oh, I need to re-export the mesh because I updated the UVs. Yeah, so I like the techniques and like trying to, you know, like just being really efficient. It has been useful for us because you know, like that way we can deploy to mobile and stuff like that. File export. Let's re-export this object because I changed the UVs a little bit. That's why we're seeing some texture artifacts. So test window. There we go. Let's relaunch the editor. Yeah, art like school is expensive. I certainly I mean I worked all throughout university to help pay for it. But yeah, those are okay right now. But I need to put something inside them now so they don't. Right now they just blend totally in with the wall, which meh is kind of blech. Let me see. Yeah, like I can put some wood in there. I can maybe make like a bar thing, and we'll see how that looks. What I want to do is, so over here now, I want to model some geo to fit nicely inside here. Yeah, no, I am very fortunate that I get to work on video games. I am very, very grateful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all these edges here. I'm going to hit F to make a face, and then I'm going to hit P to split out the selection. So now it's just its own object, and then I can figure out like what to make from there. Jeff Humbletails, thank you very kindly. That's yeah. So I'm the art guy, and I try to make it look as nice as I can. Yeah, let me just play a little bit. Like yeah, so the lighting does help things look nice. Nothing real crazy there. I'm just trying to. Right now, I'm just exploring different systems, redoing the art for this new area, trying to keep level design in mind. So there are plenty of like I like you get into this mindset where for dungeons you just want like room corridor, and these one wide corridors aren't particularly interesting. So that's why like this room I'm trying to have two doorways. And like this room is really, I mean, it's kind of split up like into two spaces, but it still kind of feels contiguously. It's also split up into three, really, if you think about it. But again, just trying to keep it so you don't get pinned down, so you have interesting movement options. And I'm also going to probably introduce some verticality eventually. But right now, again, mostly focusing on redoing the textures and adding new props to support them. Thank you. Those are the kind words. I appreciate that. Let's see. So yeah, building a prop to go inside there. So I'm thinking planks to board it up and maybe bars with something dark behind. I can pick from those dynamically or at random, however you want to view it. Yeah, let's do this. And actually, it might just be a simple plane is all I really need, because I don't really need a lot of geo to do that. I just need to make sure that it's at least, let's move it 1 on that direction so I don't get Z fighting when this gets snapped to the wall. My conundrum, well, I guess I could start making the alt stuff now. What I was thinking is having multiple mesh texture sets, so I can have the generator pick between the two, which I think would be cool. So let me just go ahead and try that. So this needs, let's see, 1, you project from view. Then let's just scale this down, flip it over here. Guess now that it's going to live inside here, does it? I guess I didn't have to worry about stuffing everything inside there, but whatever. Let's snap this to selected. I think that's correct. Yeah. So my favorite type of art to do really is environmental art. I can do character art, but it's not my favorite. I really just like making the spaces to explore. That is the thing that I get the most happiness from. Cool. Hey, Tony. Thanks for popping by the stream. Okay. So let me just real quick. Let's go to texture paint and let's just grab here. Let's just grab one of these wood colors just so I can block it out. So change it to paint mode. Then maybe grab this middle color here, and then over here, grab my fill tool, and then turn on masking. It doesn't matter. This is a separate mesh now. I thought we had unified. There we go. So now that's updated there. So I can Alt S to save it and pop over to Photoshop. And I thought it used to be F12 would reload it, but maybe not. So file, open recent meshes. Now we have where this lives. Let me see. Take care of making good images. I also have some references on how I make wood, maybe textures. I don't think the temple has any wood. It's the temple meshes. I mean, this is an example of a kind of example of wood, but temple meshes doesn't use it. I just want some boards to cover up that window, basically. I think I also have boards. Where else? Yeah, room. There's tons of boards here, right? Yeah, let's just grab something like this. I can make it work. Not you. Control V. V. Cool. Positions where this needs to be, and we'll chop it down to size and then fix all the nastiness. Or actually, I can just select this. Kind of try to position this where. I mean, just invert that, delete everything, and then start fixing it. I think that's a fine way to go about it. Let me just real quick, let me just merge that and save that, and then just reload it in Blender and see what it looks like. Yeah, it looks okay. I think it gets the point across. Do I have texture space to do another one? Let me think. So, nope, let's not do that. Let's get out of, let's go back to draw mode. Let's go back to object mode. There we go. And if I, let's say, duplicate this and then just make a slide a copy over here on this one, go back to view so I can edit the UVs and then get Y minus 24. Is that what that is? No. Trying to make efficient use of my texture space. But it might not be the prettiest sometimes. Yeah. You're getting gross, making me sad. I want to keep these kind of logically together, but I don't know if that's super. Sure, feel free to share stuff. I might not show it off on stream just because I don't want to be like, you know, surprised with, you know, crazy stuff. But yeah, I'll take a look. Cool. So this, I wanted to do like some sort of like barred thing, so I guess I could do that. Let's go back to texture paint and go to fill. And I guess I can just grab this dark color and fill it in and save it here. And maybe reload this one. Dungeon meshes. There we go. And then I can figure out some place where I have something that resembles a bar and that's cool. Good job. Yeah, that's pretty cool work on the tank tread there. Trying to think, where in the dungeon do I have the old meshes? Maybe I had some bar stuff going on. Like right here, I can maybe borrow this or use it as a starting point at least. It's not the worst. Real quick, I guess I can just make this selection here and then up here apply it as a layer mask and then unlink it. So I can kind of move this around and see where I like it. But I think that's probably going to be okay. I think I might want to nudge this over one, and then I kind of, oh man, what if I maybe duplicate this? Make this too wide in the middle, or is that looking? That's looking strange, Joshua. Zeroto says, all these talented pixel artists, I used to want to do it but never got good at it. Yeah, it's just a thing of practice. It's just you know, I can't claim to be the best at anything. I'm just really stubborn and I keep at it. I guess that's kind of okay. And also, it's also kind of noisy. Also, maybe I want to really darken up this bit right here. Let's see, how dark do I go? Let me open up the old texture sheet here. I think this is the darkest I go. That's not full black. Let's go back over here. Do that. There we go. Yeah, maybe I can also cool. Maybe I can. So where is this roughly at? This is a its height is 27. Really, Joshua? Is that what I did? 28, 26. Something seems off here. How tall is this really? 27 just seems like a weird number. Maybe I'm, yeah, maybe it's just off. Yeah, I enjoy all the art I get to do. I'm really thankful that I get to do it. I personally use Blender for my 3D modeling, but and it works fine enough for what I do. I mean, I've conditioned myself to be to think in Blender, so it's just how I prefer to work now. Cool. Save that. Reload that. Yeah, that'll work. I'm not sure if I like this lattice stuff though. Let me just try just a single, like the up and down bar variant. Maybe that will make me, maybe I'll like that better. Let me just like this and just duplicate it a couple times. And then here, maybe work on the single bar. There we go. I think you're just getting a little too noisy for my taste is all. Maybe just drop some highlights. I don't know if I'd like the, maybe just leave that dark cell out. And then this is 4 wide, so let's see what the spacing on this is going to look like. It kind of works. Maybe just 2, so that way I get black on either side. Yeah, a lot of times in Photoshop, I end up just using the layer stack as basically my undo. Because sometimes I just undo so many actions, like I exceed the undo stack, so it's easier just to, yeah, I think that probably reads okay. I don't actually use Blender to make games. I just use Blender to make art for games, if that makes any sense. Cool. So let's try this. Let's export these. Oh, let's not do that. Let's go back to object mode. Let's export these out. So let me hide that, and then let me just leave the origin here because I want these to easily align with the window object. So let me just go File, Export, OBJ, and this is a test window. Insert 0. That seems like a thing. Export, and then Alt G, and then File, Export, OBJ, and this is going to be test window insert 1. Okay, export. And what I'm going to do is pop into the editor here, and what you can do is hit play. Not play. You can right click, place entity. Actually, let me just duplicate this because I think this is going to be close to what I want. So let me just drag this out, kind of pull it forward on the Y a little bit. And this, I can just click this, and I want it to be dungeon and test window insert 0. If I shift click now, I can actually select both these and hit OK. And what you should see is when I hit play, okay, refresh maybe. There we go. So when I hit play, it should, it should choose between the two different options at random. It looks like I'm getting a little bit of texture bleed, but that might not be noticeable when I actually slam this inside that window. So let's do that now. Let's so this one, it doesn't need collision because the collision on this is going to totally encompass it. So let's just set solid to false. And then on this one, let's go ahead and shore up the collision. So I think it needs to be, yeah, 0.5 wide, 1. Uh-oh, I think my vertical dimension is probably weird. Uh-oh, yeah, it's probably real weird. Yeah, let me just take a quick stab and see how big it is. It is 43 pixels tall. Oh goodness. So 43 divided by 32 is 134,375. So back in here, this needs to be 134,375 to get a nice collision there. Okay, and then this needs to just go up and snap inside this frame. Actually, I probably need to, let me just also snap this out here, and then these both should line up nicely. I think it's gonna be tricky selecting both. Just the way, maybe if I flip to the other side, no. Yeah, sometimes you gotta, come on. This is gonna be tough. I might just have to do this manually. Let me try that. Let me, let's right click to JSON. And this brings up a JSON entry for this entity. Let me copy this. And let's go define a prefab. So under entities.dat, I'm gonna make a new prefab. It's going to be, yeah, this is my door arch. So I'm just going to make a new one after that. And it's going to be called window, I guess. And we'll go from there. But what this needs to be is it needs to be a group. So I can copy this. And I'm just gonna duplicate this window. So the entities, it's going to be 2 windows for now. Then let's close off our array. And then I can add another entry here. And this needs to be, the mesh file is test window underscore insert underscore 0. And then this can actually be a comma separated list. So that's what the shift key does for us. I can paste that again and change this to 1. And it is not solid, make that false. Save. Let me clear out this rotation as well. Maybe. Let me try leaving it in see for the moment and see what it does, but I think I need to clear it out, and then I probably need to adjust my collision on the main mesh with the collider on it. So save. Then I should be able to hopefully play a refresh. Then now hopefully in my right click menu I should get prefab dungeon sets. Oh no, let me quit out and try again. Sometimes that refresh will pull in fresh data, and sometimes you have to restart the entire editor. Test and new dungeon theme. If I right click, place prefab, dungeon sets, window, cool. Yeah, so I think that's okay. Let me see if I place prefab dungeon sets or door arch. Yeah, they're aligned the same direction, so that should be good. Should be. Cool. And then I can get rid of these temp assets and use the prefab. Grab this and turn it with a T key and slam it against the wall. Again, it's meant to be placed by the. Let me just do this for the time being so I can get it where I want it. There we go. Yeah, these are all for the dungeon refresh. Because the dungeon was the first area we made. The first area we made, and we made it like 4 years ago. It's also like the worst looking area, just because like over the course of the development we've gotten better at making rooms. I've gotten better at art. The systems we have to use now are much more sophisticated. Cool. Yeah, so sometimes those are boarded up, sometimes they are bars. I think that's a nice little touch. And now let's see if I can get the game itself to place them for me. So it does more of the heavy lifting. Though I guess it could potentially place like a window on a column, but that's okay, I guess. Oh, thank you. Yeah, the metal is a little different. It has a different feel than the rest of Delver, and I like it because I wanted a darker element to contrast with the lightness of the brick, so that's why I chose that. So yeah, so the prefab little swapping stuff is working as expected, and I think when I do the alt textures, I'll also add some other things to put in there too, so we'll get more variety that way. Okay. Cool, thanks Marcelli, I appreciate that. No, Michael, Blender you can do, there's also a game engine built into Blender, so if you want to do 3D or 2D games, you can certainly do it. I just use Blender as a content creation tool, and I don't worry about file save. I don't worry about actually trying to make games within Blender. Also, you can like render out movies and stuff too, but I'm mostly focused on real-time asset production, so like video game art and stuff like that. So let's go back to this info.dat. Let me undo my last change, which should have been this chair on a wall. I want to say this is a window on a wall, and I want to place a prefab, and the category is dungeon sets, I think. Make sure I get this right. Window is the name. I copy that, and then it's in the dungeon sets. Okay. Then this is window. Save. And now when this thing should just start throwing windows everywhere. Let me see. Yeah, so it drops them. It attaches them to the ground, because I think that, and this is also, it shouldn't be doing this. More debugging eventually. It's also, it seems like the collision's a little off. Or is it weird? Yeah, so something's off there. Or is it, oh, it's off by, yeah, it's off by that 270 that I should have been worried about. So let's, okay, so on our entity definition for the window sets, let's add back, no, because it's correctly oriented, it's just the collision boxes are wrong. So here I need to flip the X and the Y. So this needs to be 0.5 and this one needs to be that. There we go. And then now we should see them more correctly. Get slammed up against a wall? No. No. So if I made the rotation 0 and 0. There, up. Nope. Nah, yeah. Sorry. I will get this straightened out, I promise. So. It's still doing something odd. Let me hit play, K, refresh. I feel like it's not pulling in. Yeah, it's feels like it's not quite doing the correct thing with the collision. I can't remember. I think maybe I need to debug rotation on the let me just place one of these prefabs. Places an entity so I can tear it apart. So dungeon set window and ungroup, and then I can toggle on show collision boxes. But yeah, the collision is wrong. Collision is wrong. Two, 5. $0.65. See, that looks correct. That feels correct. Marcella, you have to export it as a wavefront OBJ file. And yeah, it should pull in just fine. Kirby says, I'm not architect, but I imagine that either the windows wouldn't be that high or the room would be taller, so the windows wouldn't highlight the supporting bars. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to imagine it as a dungeon, so maybe it's just they're high because we're partly underground, or maybe they're high because they're made for a ventilation reason. I don't really know. Yeah, I mean, they don't necessarily make perfect sense. Maybe the so it's 0.5 on the X and 0.625 on the Y. Make sure I'm updating the solid thing. 0.5 and 0.65. That should be correct. Let's clear out the rotation properties. Play. This. Yeah, it's. Yeah, I think I need to debug what's going on with the collision here, but for the time being, I think I can just turn it off, maybe, or make it 0.625 both directions and turn it off. I think that should still slam it up against the wall just fine. No, something's still going on. Maybe did I export the origin incorrect? No? Okay, I am not quite sure what's going on here. I have been going for almost 2.5 hours, and I think my family just got home from swim class, so I think I want to go hang out with my wife on Mother's Day. So I think I will maybe play a little bit of Delver on the way out, and I'll call it a day. Let's play a little Delver, and I'll talk through it. Okay. Stop. And let me real quick on this, just get rid of this because we don't want windows to generate everywhere. We just want to play the game a little bit. YKEKS says, you being all productive made me feel lazy. Now working on own stuff while watching. Cool. Yeah. So yeah, this is Delver. It's a procedure generated dungeon crawler. Let me think. Yep, here's the start area. You can buy stuff. The gold persists between runs, but right now I don't have a lot of gold, so I'm just going to enter the dungeon. Here you go. The dungeon layouts get procedurally generated. You get random loot drops, random monster spawns, all that good stuff. So as you can see that this first area is the area I'm redesigning. It looks very different. It's very dark. The rooms don't always make sense, simply because they were the first things we ever built, and everything was new. And we didn't really know what we're doing, so I'm trying to take some of those learnings and remake the first area. So basically I want the first 15 minutes of the game to be super solid. Like, I want it to be really fun, I want it to be really beautiful, I want, you know, people to have a good experience with it. I'm getting beat up on here. And you have dungeon, and if I go down in, or not there, let's jump down a level. You have another dungeon. Then you hit shopkeep area, and then you enter the caves. You have a couple levels of caves, and then you have the mysterious cold area. And then you go down again, and now we're in the sewers, which I don't think I've shown off the stream yet. So the sewers, again, trying to have a different feel than the other areas. There's lots of water. There's lots of verticality. I probably, before we finally ship, I probably will do a pass on this as well. Just to make sure that it is up to the same quality bar. I think I might want to add some more just like color or texture variety, because right now it's all pretty green and blue, and maybe something to help break that up a little bit and pop, or maybe adding props or something. I'm trying to think of ways to make it feel a little bit more special than it does. And now that I mention that, I don't see any. There should be way more foliage being spawned. I don't see any foliage spawning at all, so something must be up. Those guys are spawning. Then we go down, and these are the ruins, and this is the final area of the game. Maybe I have foliage turned off? I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on here. I will definitely die here. This is where you have this is the last bit of the game where you encounter the boss, you retrieve the MacGuffin, and you try to get out. I threw that potion instead of drinking it, which in hindsight it was a healing potion, so that probably wasn't a great move. That's a dead end. My wand is out. Yeah, the skeleton's going to do a lot of damage to me. Just because I jumped down through all the levels without actually leveling up, so I'm under-leveled. Hey everybody, so let me think. This has been a good productive stream. It's been a nice stream. Thank you to everybody who has bought the game that directly financially supports me. Thank you for everybody who pops by the stream. It like motivates me. I look forward to Sundays every week because I stream every Sunday doing development for Delver. If you want to follow me, I might try to do another bonus stream this week where I just at a random time will pop up and do some development streaming. If you follow me on Twitter, at Joshua Skelly, that's a good way to find out when those happen. Or you can follow me here on Twitch, at Joshua Skelly also. You can follow Delver at DelverGame on Twitter. I think that's all I have today. Thank you everybody for showing up. I appreciate you hanging out with me, keeping me company, giving me good feedback. And I will see you next Sunday, if not sooner. Take care, everybody.